Hey you guys, I'm here in Vientiane, which is the capital city of Laos. But my journey began more than 1,000 kilometers away when I hopped on board the brand new China to Laos railway in Kunming, Yunnan province. During my journey, I've met a woman who is trying her best to turn a small border town into a city you guys will all know in the future. I also met a local who learned how to build railways in China, and a man who devotes his life to dealing with the aftermath of thousands upon thousands of unexploded bombs left all across this beautiful country by the USA. I'm Andy Boreham here in Vientiane, Laos. This is a special edition of Reports on China. This is Laos, a small country of 7.2 million people in Southeast Asia. As you can see, Laos is landlocked, meaning it doesn't have access to the sea. It's surrounded on all sides by Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, and of course China to the north. That geographical difficulty and the fact that Laos is littered with 80 million unexploded bombs dropped by the US has stymied the country's ability to develop, leaving it one of the poorest in the region. The tide has started to turn in Laos's favour though, after China helped build the country's first railway, connecting its capital city, Vientiane, with Kunming in southern China. That's where I got on board, eager to visit Laos for the first time, and find out how this railway has changed the lives of locals and started transforming Laos from landlocked to land-linked. My journey will take around 5 hours from Kunming to Boreham, a small border town just meters away from China. Then we'll travel another 150 kilometers to the historical city of Luang Prabang, a huge part of which is literally a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Finally, we'll check out the capital, Vientiane, right on the border with Thailand. All up, a journey of 1,000 kilometers through gorgeous, wild terrain and bomb-littered wasteland. Okay, I've made it to the first stop inside Laos on the new China to Laos railway. This city, Boreham, is really interesting because even though we're in Laos, most of the people here speak Mandarin Chinese. Why is that? Let's go figure it out. Boreham is a special economic zone that was only created back in 2003. This place has an interesting history despite its young age, once being a lawless gambler's haven where loan sharks took their customers hostage, prostitution was rampant, and smuggling went on unchecked. Today, it's a different story. The current population is about 6,000, and they all seem to be working on making this place into something special. Wow, this gorgeous golden structure behind me is actually the Boreham Border Inspection Station. It's a road, and if you keep going just 200 meters, you'll end up in China, which really goes to show how much of a border city this is. Now I'm going to meet a Chinese woman. She's actually been living here for 5 years, and she's working hard on developing this city. Let's go meet her. Hey, 汪小静是吧
Hello， 你好，请问是 Andy 吗？
啊，对对对。
哎，你好 ，Andy， 萨巴迪。
啊，萨巴迪，萨巴迪。
终于等到你。那我带你去参观一下。
可以啊，可以啊。
好，
这里好大。
还好。
Wang Xiaojing is a key figure in the Laos-Boreham Special Economic Zone Development and Construction Group, part of the reported US $10 billion development of this small, unknown city.
所以的话呢，目前就是我们可以从昆明坐火车直接去到哪里呢？去到
高湾上。
哎，对的，没错。那我们必须要经过哪里呢？经过我们的秣町，秣町就是大家出国首站了就是这样一个概念。所以的话呢，它是中国对接整个中南半岛的人流、物流、信息流、资金流汇聚的平台秣町，所以它非常重要。第一个产业板块是国际商业金融会展产业。哎，对，这个部分。那这个部分的话，我们现在目前已经有差不多500家企业已经入驻了。This huge scale model, which shows how Boreham will look in about 10 years, was definitely fascinating, especially for a visual learner like me. But I couldn't help but feel Xiaojing was speaking with her business hat on. I wanted to get out of the showroom and find out her personal thoughts. 那你已经住在这里已经有5年了，是吧？ 是的，我从2018年8月份就已经在秣町了。
我的天哪！那5年之前这里怎么样啊
？5年之前吗？这些都还没有。然后像这些高楼都没有。
因为他们正在建，对吧？
对，正在建。5年前的话呢，这一片区大部分都是山包。
那如果当时没有什么，你为什么要来这里啊？
因为我觉得这个就也是发展趋势。我们国家的一带一路发展趋势就在这里。而且的话，我觉得因为我本身就是做房地产这一行的，我就是一个卖房的所以的话，我觉得
你看到了个机会，
我看到了很多的投资机会会在这个地方。
那您觉得那个中老铁路开通之后，会对这个地方、对这边的本地人会有什么影响呢？
在通车之前的话呢，大家过来就比较不方便。但是通车了以后，大家可以从昆明去万象，就直接坐火车就可以过来了，过来旅游了。然后老挝人、泰国人他们也可以坐上火车去中国旅游了。那这个就真正的意义上实现了，就是互利、互惠、互通的这个原则了。
She also took me to one of her favorite parts of the city, this secluded lake, which will soon be one of the hottest natural attractions of Boreham.
来 ，Andy， 我给你介绍一下，这是我们的莫丁湖。这个湖面的话呢，是比较大的，然后湖周围都是山，在这里是非常静谧的。在湖周边的话，我们会建造很多很漂亮的客栈。
哇，跟那些一样。
对，里面还有很多鱼这个
可以钓鱼吗？
目前暂时不可以垂钓，要保护它的生态。
那可以
但是里面的鱼就是我们会有专门的人去垂钓，有罗非鱼马丁鱼，很好吃的，很天然的。
Well, you really do get the distinct impression that this is very much a border town. Not only because most people here speak Mandarin Chinese, but also when you look around, every single sign is bilingual with Chinese and the local Lao language. I don't think this place is one many people would choose to stop off at on their travels, but I really do recommend it, especially in the future. I think this place is going to be something very special. Hey, สบายดี Okay, it's time to leave our first stop, Boreham, and jump on the next train to Luang Prabang, a trip which used to take an entire day and can now be done in less than 2 hours on the new train. This marks the beginning of my travels on the Laos part of the railway, which stretches 409 kilometres from here to the capital, Vientiane. Some quick facts for you. The maximum speed is 160 kilometres per hour. There are currently 10 passenger stations and 22 freight stations along the route, which passes through 75 tunnels and over 167 bridges. The railway was built by China with the total cost of just under US $6 billion, 60% of which was funded as part of the One Belt, One Road infrastructure initiative, which this year celebrates its 10th anniversary. The journey across the Laos section now takes less than 4 hours, as opposed to 15 hours before, drastically opening the country up for the transport of people and freight, and connecting Laos to the outside world by rail for the first time ever. Luang Prabang is probably one of Laos's most famous tourist destinations, with much of the town designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. My first stop, though, is Suphannavong University, which has partnered up with the Shanghai Institute of Technology since 2017 to teach Laotian students how to build railways. I'm meeting Di Jia, a Luang Prabang native, who is one of those students. 那怪不得。那之前你是去上海学那个铁路技术了吗？
对，我是学过了啊。
你学到了什么内容呢？
我们学到就是那个我们专业是铁道工程，然后可能学到那个隧道啊、桥梁啊这些的。
所以你一到那边的话， 会中文吗？
开始的时候是从那个我们老挝这里都没有学过只是到那个上海那里，就是我是从零开始学的，然后就慢慢学，然后就会了。
然后到现在已经那么流利。
也没那么重要，
很厉害，我觉得挺好的，挺好的。
谢谢啊，
不用谢。While on campus, I thought it would be a perfect excuse to chat to some locals about the China to Laos train and find out their thoughts. Nan Tavan is a senior student majoring in economics.
Traveling in Laos now is much more convenient after we have the train, and it takes short time. Traveling in our country is more than before, and after we open to China, tourists from China come to Laos a lot, so that might increase our profits and gain more tourists, I think. In the end of this month, I will going to Kunming, so I will try the train. So I am so excited for this.
Somapad San, an assistant professor in the English department, also feels the future for Laos looks brighter now that the China to Laos Railway has been completed.
Actually, in the past, I would say that in the last decades, before we developing the high-speed railway systems, Laos could not export their products easily as today. So now, as we have seen that after the completion of the high-speed railway systems, we can export our products through that, export to Europe or other parts of the world.
Ooh, Dija's offered to take me to dinner and share some of Laos's delicious food.
哇，看起来很丰盛。我觉得我最期待吃这个老挝香肠
就是我们老挝特色的
就跟这个一起吗？
对，是跟这个一起
好，我蘸一蘸。
好。
会辣吗？
对，这个辣就是辣一点一点可以吗？不错，好。
你最想吃哪个？
就是这个这个就是
这是你最喜欢的。
对，就是那个我们老挝，
看起来很新鲜。
好。
挺好的。
好，
干杯。
好，干杯。
这很漂亮。
After that, he insisted we visit the local night market, which is packed with local handicrafts, souvenirs, and clothing. There I found a stall selling trinkets made out of aluminium salvaged from the 270 million cluster bombs dropped by the US in a secret operation headed by the CIA from 1964 to 1973. During that 9 years, the US dropped more than 2.5 million tons of bombs all over Laos, which on average totaled a plane load of cluster bombs and other munitions every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day for 9 years straight, making it the most bombed country in history. 1/3 or around 80 million bombs remain unexploded, just waiting to kill or maim anyone who walks too close. That hideous bombing campaign of a country the US was not at war with, which has killed or injured over 25,000 and still kills 50 a year, was orchestrated by the CIA without the knowledge of the American public. I've come to the Luang Prabang Unexploded Ordnance Centre to meet with a man who spent the last 21 years dealing with the aftermath.
ข้าพเจ้าชื่อหุ้มพันธ์จันทวงศ์เป็นหัวหน้าประสานงานโครงการเก็บรวดแห่งชาติประจำแข้งโลบังตั้งแต่ปี2002 ฮอดปี2023
His work mainly involves education around bomb safety, helping to clear bombs to make room for farmers to work the land, and offering support to victims who have been injured. He showed me around the museum they've set up, which features a picture of President Obama's visit in 2016.
The people here, I think, are deeply interested in engaging with Americans despite the really challenging history. During the Vietnam War, we bombed Laos more than probably any square inch of earth anywhere.
Despite his words of regret, Obama did not extend an official apology to the people of Laos. Meanwhile, many here remain in a state of limbo.
การเฮ็ดอยู่เฮ็ดกินนี่ก็จะยุ่งยากมีความยานทางร่างกายยานทางจิตใจเพราะว่ายานจะมีคนหายของระเบิดตามมาเป็นต้นเป็นการอุบัติเหตุเสียชีวิตตายผ่านมามันก็มีหลายคนอันยังมีความยานกลัวอยู่แล้วก็มีความรอคอยจากโครงการเก็บกู้เฮานี้เพื่อไปฮอดไปถึงอันนี้เห็นว่ายังมีนักหน่วงตัวนี้เกี่ยวกับปัญหาเรื่องระเบิดนี่เพราะว่าผ่านมาทุกมือนี้เกี่ยวกับอุบัติเหตุต่างๆที่เกิดจังมาเนี่ยก็เป็นว่าแม่นผลการทำการผลิต
About 30 kilometers away is Kwangsu Waterfall, another must-see if you're visiting Luang Prabang. It's also worth getting up early to check out an important ritual for the locals.
It's really early in the morning, as you can see, but every day local people come down here at about 5:30 a.m. to give food offerings to the local monks.
They're not allowed to prepare their own food, so locals making such offerings is also a chance to get some good luck and sometimes share a prayer with a monk. Now it's time to head to the capital city, Vientiane, which is currently the last stop on this line. It's about 300 kilometers away and will take about 2 to 3 hours depending on what kind of train you're on. Vientiane has a population of around 700,000 and is home of the country's government, as well as Laos's most important monument, Pathat Luang, a gold-covered Buddhist stupa which is recognized as the symbol of the country. It's here that I'm meeting with Suk Sakon, a journalist from the Vientiane Times who's been covering the China to Laos Railway since it was first announced.
I heard that you're covering specifically the China to Laos Railway. So how long have you been covering that for?
I have been covering about the Laos-China Railway since the early stage, 2010, when the Lao government proposed about the projects to the National Assembly, which is the Lao Parliament.
And have you been on the train yourself before?
Yeah. My first time is when I accompanied the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs for the testing of the railways to Luang Nam Tha, which borders China.
So how did you feel like when you were on the testing stage? You must have felt like pretty proud or...
Yeah, of course. In Laos, it was the first high-speed train in Laos. Yeah, it's kind of, it's really interesting to, you never seen communities in mountainous area that were not accessible in the past, but now they are seen.
I'm at the recently built Vientiane railway station meeting with Du Zhigang, Operations Director of the Laos-China Railway Company. He's Chinese, but now calls Laos home.
这里的设计也是跟中国的高铁站一样吗？
对，跟
是一样的。
对，一样的。
Like most railway officials, Mr. Du is keen to share some statistics.
中老铁路老挝段开通至2023年的8月13日，发送旅客299.1万人，平均每天呢发送旅客是4831人。最高日。
But I was wondering what the most challenging aspect of the whole project was for him.
对于铁路来讲，老挝是零基础，没有铁路法律法规，没有铁路配套的基础设施，社会上也没有相应的铁路技术工人。老中公司也招聘了大量的老挝籍学员，经过中文培训、理论培训、铁路的理论知识培训，现场的实作培训。现在呢，这些铁路的技术人才都到中老铁路工作了，我们也解决了这个社会上缺少人才这个问题。这个是个非常美丽自然美丽的一个国家，
很自然的。你看那边，
而且老挝人也是非常朴实老挝人非常朴实，非常善良，非常淳朴。
跟他们合作是挺好的，是吧？
哎呀，跟他们合作是非常非常融洽
挺好。
So, as you can see, the new China to Laos Railway has already transformed the prospects of this small Southeast Asian country and truly turned it from landlocked to land-linked. It's been eye-opening visiting 3 cities along the route and hearing stories from so many people whose lives this train has touched, in one way or another. We've all seen how much high-speed rail has helped rapidly develop China over the past few decades. And now it's time to extend that development to Southeast Asia and beyond.